Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another lab. The lab. The lab. Welcome to this podcast, episode
That
number
you're listening
15.
to.
And I forgot who I am. Kel, I know who you are.
Hey. Hello. How are you doing today, Cody?
Pretty good, but apparently I've lost my ability to speak, so that's not good.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll make it through this hour regardless.
This is true. I've just been talking to dogs for the past like couple days, so I'm basically just like, no, shit,
Yeah.
don't do that. So
Stop it.
yeah,
How
exactly.
is it going, that three dog life right now?
Yeah, so it's definitely we're finding a groove. I think today has been a little easier, but yeah, I think if it was like three dogs, like grown dogs, it would be fine. But we've got two dogs, and then we got this puppy, and so it's just like you gotta always be like looking. Like he starts wandering, you're like, "What are you doing? Where are you going? Where are you gonna? You're trying to poop somewhere. I can tell, see it in your eye." So yeah, just a lot of like running around, kind of just following, making sure he's not pooping or cleaning up his poop or whatever. So it's potty training. It's the best. It's the best part.
So fun. So fun. I
So
haven't had
fun.
to deal with that in a while.
Yeah, it's like having a baby. You're just like always just taking him outside and cleaning poop and all that fun stuff. But it's actually Dez's dog, but she is visiting family in Texas right now. So she got it on Saturday. And she was over here, but like now she's left. So I am hopefully I'm trying to like make sure I'm potty training him and all that stuff. My my one dog Carly, she just takes so long to warm up, but she's finally warming up to him. So at least there's that, because I it was so hard to work because I didn't know if there was going to be like a fight breaking out. And so there's like fighting, shitting, peeing, I don't know.
All the
So
bodily fluids.
yeah, exactly. So at least it's calmed down too. There's no fighting happening. We just have to worry about the shit. So yeah.
Well, that's
Yep.
interesting time. At least you get nice, good puppy snuggles.
That's true. And it's a French bulldog. And like I've personally like always wanted one. And so it's very
Mhm.
strange. It's almost like you meet a movie star for the first time, because I'm pretty sure I've never actually even met a French bulldog in real life. I've just thought they were adorable and they make cute little sounds and their little fat butts and heads and stuff. So I'm just like touching it like, oh my gosh, you're like a famous person that, but you're not. I don't know. They just like it. You're like, it's just so weird to hold you after all these years of wanting a French bulldog. But we also didn't have to pay full price for it, so that's fun.
Discount Frenchie. Discount
Yeah,
Frenchie.
you can't really pass up a discount Frenchie, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, my good friend has a Frenchie, and it's a fun dog, but he's like giant for Frenchie size. It's
Mm.
like 40 pounds. So he's a mutant Frenchie.
That is a huge Frenchie. He's
I know.
16 pounds right now, but he's 4 months old. So he's got some growing left in him, but I don't know how much. But he's just really beefy. So he's
Mhm.
kind of just a little wrecking ball. Like Toby's 11 pounds. He's kind of dainty and lean and long legged. And he'll like jump in your lap and like it'll be all light and gentle. And this guy's just like boom, like he's just does not care, does not know personal space. So it's very
That's
interesting.
hilarious.
But how's your week been?
Oh, it's been a week. Lot of work stuff. I don't I have a work phone at all times, so like I've been getting a ton of calls outside of my hours. So it's just been dealing with that. Like I usually leave it in the car when I go to the gym because I'm like, this is my time. And I every night I've came out of the gym, looked at my phone, and I have calls, and I'm like, God damn
Mm,
it.
that
So all of
sucks.
my relaxingness from the gym is like, oh, rude awakening, but
Ruined.
that's okay. I go on
That's
vacation on Saturday, so I'm stoked about that. So just counting down a couple more hours, like 8 more hours of work, and then I'm there. So
I mean, at
so
least you have
close.
that to look forward to because it's
Yeah,
rough when
for
you
sure.
don't. You're just like, oh, why am I here?
Well, then I don't have anything after this vacation until Olympia, so
Ooh,
it's gonna
but
be
at
a long
least,
stretch.
but at least the Olympia is like big. I don't know.
It's gonna
It's
be
probably just
fun.
me because I don't vacation much.
No, but yeah, I'm still stoked. So yeah, my mom has a place down in Florida, so we're just going there. Should be chill. I'm
Awesome.
stoked.
That sounds good. And that's also funny. It's like if anyone happens to be going to the Olympia as well, we are too. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody going, but
No, only me and you. In
yeah,
Vegas.
yeah, hell yeah. I've never been to Vegas, so I'm looking
I
forward to
haven't
it.
been since I was like 14. So I've never
Okay.
been like when I could do things. So I'm not a gambler though. I'm kind of cheap. So
Yeah, I literally never like gambled with my money. It was always like against Christian beliefs to
uh
gamble. But that's not why I didn't gamble. I just didn't have money to gamble. But I wanted anyways. I was like, I'll keep my money. I worked
yeah.
hard for this.
But I'll
Um,
probably like play like 1 or 2 games just to say I did, and that'll be
yeah, why not? Maybe I'll put something in the a coin
slot machine.
slot machine, like I mean it's
Coin.
probably a coin thing, which they probably don't even take coins now. It's probably just card and it's like $5 a
Probably.
thing. You're like, all right, here goes $5, even though they used to be nickel machines and now they're just
Yeah.
$5 machines.
Inflation, bitch.
Yeah, because those machines they like take a lot of gas, like
Oh
to
yeah. 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 Right.
that was a joke. People are like, no, they don't.
I mean, there's probably a lot of gas from the old people with oxygen tanks in them. So
That's true. That's true. I've been to
that's all I ever see
Reno.
at slot machines.
I see like I've been to Reno and usually so like Reno casinos, they just basically smell like cigarettes and have like old shitty carpet from the 70s, and there's just people like smoking at the slot machines, and they're usually like probably senior citizen age, and so you just
Yeah.
walk through and you're like, why am I here? It's like, oh, because it's cheap. Okay. So yeah, Reno is like just the it's Vegas's tweaker cousin. That's about it.
That's hilarious. I've definitely never been to Reno.
You don't want to.
But
You don't ever have to.
I'll just cross that off the list.
Mhm.
Yeah. But so what are we talking about today? You want to
Today
introduce our topic?
I forgot to say what we were talking about. Oh boy. Forgive me. So
That's
today's
okay.
topic, we are talking about like how to control hunger when you are in a calorie deficit. Is that right? I just need to
Yeah.
make sure I'm doing something right first. So yeah, Kel, do you have any tips or tricks to start us off with this topic?
Yeah. Well, as you know, since you put me there, I am
Mhm.
currently in a deficit. We're cutting a little bit during my health phase. And so it's been like a month. I've been trimming down, and it's not as fun as bulking up to me, but but I do I don't mind it. I think, well, as you know, I always like to say is reframing your mind. So yeah, you get hungry and that kind of sucks because you're not like stuffed like you always are. But
Yeah.
first and foremost, I always like to think about like the goal and the why. So I'm trying to get, I don't want to get crazy chunky and fluffy when I'm bulking, because I'm going to be bulking for quite a while. So the whole point of this is to kind of trim down and make sure I'm all set to go back in my growing phase. So first I like to reframe, and then when that really doesn't cut it anymore, I like to go to my root beers and my fizzy drinks to get that sweetness, because I have such a sweet tooth, so that's usually my issue.
Yeah, same.
So diet pops, ginger root beer, that kind of thing. That's my
Yeah,
first go-to.
those are
Are
good
you a
ones for
big
sure.
pop drinker? Soda, I guess you'd probably call
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
So I always laugh if you guys call it pop over there.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, soda was like my jam growing up. It was actually quite hard to get myself off of drinking soda. And the way I did it is kind of hilarious because it was like soda, then it went to energy drinks for some reason. Well, like I did sugar-free energy
So
drinks,
much
but
better.
still, right? I was just, I don't know what I was thinking of that. It was a long time ago. Okay. So I went from like soda to sugar-free energy drinks. I was hooked on those for a really long time. Then I went from that to kombucha. And
Nice.
now I'll have a mix of it all, really.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a strange obsession, addiction with a beverage right now. Usually I always do. It's either like kombucha or like whatever energy drink that I'm just in love with. Uh, right now, I just rotate. So progress, growth, you
Yeah.
know,
I do. So I like energy drinks every once in a while, and I really love those Alanis. Have you had that?
Des
They
loves
look
those. They,
fuck,
yeah.
man, they're so good.
I've only tried like a sip once and it was really good.
I really like the cherry one. That's like cherry slush. It tastes like red icy, but
Mm,
without the icy part, just like the sugar.
that sounds really good. I'm
It's
actually
amazing.
I'm a little obsessed with 3D strawberry lemonade right now.
Ah,
Um, I just randomly tried it because we were at Target one day and I was like, I need caffeine. And so it was in the cold beverage right by the checkout. So I just grabbed it. And then I was like, this is actually really good. So every time I'm at Target, I just grab like 3 cans and then put them in my fridge. So those
nice.
are my biggest enjoyment at the moment.
Yeah. I've never tried those. I tried I'm kind of picky when it comes to energy drinks. Like I could never get on the monster train because it like tastes too chemically to me, like
Mhm.
chemically.
Chemically.
Um yeah, I don't think that's a word, but whatever.
Yeah,
You
it
know
is
what I
now.
mean? Like
Yeah.
like I need it to taste like something that and I understand that cherry slush red is probably not. It's pretty chemically, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't like a lot of them. So uh, but so I can't get behind the monster thing, but I like a lot of the other ones. So I don't know.
Yeah. I did get on the monster train, but it wasn't, well, I don't know. My favorite like monster is a newer monster. So I don't really like the old ones. I'll drink them, but there's the watermelon monster and then there's the white monster. Those two are probably like my usual. Oh, they're the green ones. The green and the orange actually are also good. So I'm like, I'm not into monster. I just like all of these flavors.
I like
Um,
all of these monsters.
yeah, I've just basically tried them all. So I'm like, here's the ones that I could, I
Uh-huh.
did like and I drink. But mostly now it's the occasional energy drink, coffee, water, all whatever. But
Yeah, that's usually what I stick to: coffee, water, and ginger root beer. My
oh yeah, the
favorite thing.
the whole point of this was this.
Oh yeah.
So my favorite like diet hack to do what I do like during prep because even energy drinks have calories.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, probably the way I do this probably has calories as well. But yeah, I'll get carbonated water and then I'll put the Mio in it and it just tastes like soda. So it's just a good way to like when I'm in prep, you have to like drink a bunch of water. And so it's a good way for me to get in my water. And then also it fills up your stomach a little bit because it's bubbly.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel less hungry. So yeah, bubbly water is a pretty big hack to control that hunger.
Yeah, I do a lot of the LaCrogers is what I call them, but the LaCroix and the generics usually is what
That's
I get.
awesome.
But I do a lot of that. I did a ton of that when I was in prep. My favorite was by far the limoncello and cranberry lime from Kroger. Definitely the best.
Nice.
But same concept though, without the
Yeah.
caffeine. But
Yeah.
it itched whatever itch I needed. So um
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that your first go-to when you are doing cuts, or what's your first thing that you end up doing?
Well, so that depends because what I do, like if it's so let's say pre serious bodybuilding, right? Like I
Mhm.
wasn't following a meal plan. I was just following calories and macros that I assigned for myself. So what I did then is a lot different from what I do now. For
Sure.
example, um, I mean, it might be a little. I haven't. So I have a new coach, and I haven't gone through prep with him, so I don't know like how he will do things. With the last one, I just followed the meal plan exactly. I was starving. There wasn't really any concern about volume. It was just like, just eat this. I don't really fucking care if you're hungry or whatever. So, I did it. That was all. But like ideally, I would be more concerned with volume, like having big ass salads, like a lot of things that are low calorie, but like high volume that keep you full longer, have fiber and stuff like that. Uh, One reason that we don't really do that as much in bodybuilding is it does tend to make you more bloated or farty, and it's not fun. So that is something to be aware of. But
Yeah. Yeah.
high volume foods, like real foods, the first thing is take out any like bars, powders, anything like that, because if you have like you want to eat your calories, like something with substance that is going to keep you full for longer than 5 minutes. Whole Foods are gonna be your best bet for that.
Hmm. Yeah. Stick away from the. I used to have a friend who always went with like bars, and my mom does it too. That drives me crazy. Is a lot of
Mhm.
protein bars, but I think also is knowing what cravings you're craving. So like, if you have a sweet tooth, know that, and then like try to think of like hacks for the sweet tooth. So like, when I was just doing macros, my favorite thing was I would get like if I was craving like ice cream or something, I would get like that reduced fat or fat free whipped cream. That's like and put it on yogurts or like on Greek yogurt and stuff like that, or like try to trick yourself almost. And that's kind of how I would handle that. Or like if you're a savory or a salty person, like salty like kale chips, like if you air fry kale and put a little salt on that, stuff like that, like little
Yeah,
switcheroos that you can just kind of trick yourself on.
yeah. People listening are like, "Are you for real? I'm gonna put salt and kale and call it a chip. Fuck you."
Yep. Yep.
But it's like, you know what? That's
Maddie
like
would say the same thing.
but how hungry are you for your goals, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah, so yes, I love that. That is also my favorite thing to do. I will make like protein ice cream if I'm craving something sweet because there's a way to make it like very voluminous. So it actually is really filling to the point where like sometimes if you eat it all, your like stomach is so full, you're just like, I am so done and never eating again. So yeah, you just find little ways to trick yourself, which is hilarious to think about. Kind of, you're like, I'm just lying to myself. But that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it itches, like scratches that itch, like it's worth it to me. I don't know, like
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I think the thing to not get into, especially when you're cutting, is that whole if it fits my macros thing, because
yeah.
that you'll just screw yourself so bad if
Mhm.
you like start in that cycle. Just because it's so once you do it once, it's really easy to keep going and doing it over and over again. And I think people really get into a bad place doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's just really hard because you have to be concerned about your health. So you can't just be like, I've got like 5 candy bars today that I'm going to eat because it fits my macros and that's all. So it's like you
Yeah.
please be concerned with your actual health if you're cutting.
Right. Like I used to have a friend who would save all their macros because they wanted to go drink at night. And it's like, ooh, that's the other thing is like you don't want to drink your calories. So not just alcohol. Like,
Yes.
yes, alcohol has a ton of calories, but like coffee creamers, full soda and pop energy drinks with full calories. that kind of thing. Drinking calories is not nearly as fun as eating them.
No, yeah. When you're in a deficit, basically the whole point is to eat as many of those calories as you can because you don't have many and you'll be hungry if you don't. And I think that's probably the most common thing. Um, so like right now, I'm around 1800 calories to 1900, depending on the day, but it feels like a lot for me still. And biggest reason being is pretty much all of those calories are coming from whole foods. So it doesn't really feel like I'm deprived right now. If it goes down to like 1500, then I'll probably feel deprived. But it's amazing how much more whole foods like give you as far as satiety goes. You're just like, wow, a lot of people think that they're eating too much and they're not going to lose weight because they're not starving all the time. And it's just like, no, you don't have to be absolutely starving in order to lose weight. Generally, if you are hungry, you will get hungry, and it's kind of a sign that you're probably in a deficit. Um, or there's, people who are like, I'm not hungry, but I'm not losing weight. And then you see they're eating like 1500 calories. And I'm like, something doesn't add up here. So we need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I think whole foods is the biggest thing. And the other thing when you're doing whole foods though is don't be drenching it in oil, like the hidden calories.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're not, and I guess I'm kind of going off track a little bit because we want to stay in helping people when they're already in deficits when they know. But
This
one
helps too.
key, yeah, one key is just to remember like all those oils that you're using for cooking, all the sauces that you're using when you're eating it, those all have calories too. Those are all going to have macros. So just be aware, cognizant of all of that because that can really screw up what you think you're in and what you are actually in.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's usually always a lower calorie alternative to pretty much anything. So like one way to start off is to just get lower calorie versions of foods you already like. It's almost like when you if you're like, I'm gonna go vegetarian, and you like wean yourself into that by using fake meats. So it's kind of like that, only with food. So let's say you're like, oh, I'm really craving pancakes, but then syrup is like 200 some calories a serving. So what you do is you get like a sugar-free syrup. So you have those little tricks, alternatives to really like cut the calories down, and it makes a pretty big difference.
Yeah, and then like I also have noticed because I always get like the steamable bags of frozen vegetables. Um they're the people at Bird's Eye are really helping out people because like they're making all those like fun new veggie things like in the frozen section. Have you seen them? It's like they've got mashed cauliflower that's a lot like mashed
Mhm.
potatoes. They got tater tots that are broccoli. Yeah, you don't really want to just stick to just that kind of thing, but if you're really needing something and you still want to be pretty safe, I mean those are really good options. Yeah, you're not going to have as many as you want, or and they're not going to taste exactly the same, but have you had those, any like the
No,
broccoli tots and
I've
stuff?
I've thought about it, but no, I haven't yet.
They're fucking delicious. I haven't had them in years, but I just remember the broccoli tater tots were really
Nice.
good. They even have like cauliflower wings, and all this stuff is
Huh.
is pretty easy to make and pretty good.
Ah,
I like it at least.
that sounds good. Maybe I'll have to try it one of these days.
Yeah, yeah, very good. But yeah, so that was to go into the if you want a lower calorie version of a potato. What is I saw that, have you seen that
Cauliflower.
meme? Have you seen that meme? It's like you're 30 and now everything's cauliflower. You got cauliflower pizza, you got cauliflower mashed potatoes, you got cauliflower wings.
Oh man, that is one thing though. Like cauliflower, everything was born out of low carb people basically, because it's like,
Yes.
oh, here's this thing that's also white, doesn't really taste like potato or rice, but we're just gonna like pretend it is. So if we pretend that it is, then you can do it and promise it'll be okay. And it like really depends on what you're eating. Sometimes it may not taste like rice or potato, but it still tastes good. And I think that sometimes if you remove this expectation that it's going to taste like rice or potato, then you're going to be okay. But if you go into it being like, it's going to be amazing, I've not had rice and this is going to be so ricey and delicious. And it's like, and then you're disappointed, right? So just know
Yeah.
it's just a
No,
trick of the eye.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's like another thing when I was vegetarian, like that was like another thing that you did. Is like if you're not comparing it to meat, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna like it. But yeah, you just gotta stay away from that comparison. It just gotta scratch that itch. That's all you're trying to
Yeah.
make that craving go away. Because
It's very
remember, a
similar in
calorie
like,
deficit isn't forever.
yes, it's temporary. That's the thing that people don't understand. But also that reminded me because it's kind of like, when someone who's vegan and they bring like something Thanksgiving and they bring like a vegan pumpkin pie, and then you're like, it's vegan, or like, you won't even know it's vegan. It's almost like the same thing with cauliflower. Like, I got this pizza, it's made of cauliflower crust, you won't even notice. And it's like, bull fucking shit.
Yeah, you notice.
Just
You
eat it.
notice. You
I
just
don't
have to
know.
accept it.
Exactly. Just accept it and move forward. That's all. But on the topic of you saying that a calorie deficit isn't forever, I feel like we should talk on that for a second, because that is the
Agreed.
thing where people get confused and they say that weight loss doesn't work, or weight loss is toxic, because it's not something that you are meant to do forever. You can actually, even if you get down to whatever your like supposed goal weight is, even though I don't like to even shoot for goal weights because everyone's body is so different. Even if you get down to where you wanted to be and say you gain like 10 pounds, that doesn't mean that you're gaining weight back. That just means that you are allowing your body to fluctuate, because we all do it, right? Between, I say, if you give your body a comfortable like 1 to 10 pounds to fluctuate, uh, then you're going to be able to sustain that pretty well. It's just when people think that they have to stay at that same exact weight forever, nobody does that. You can't do that. So don't stress over that. Like, don't diet forever. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, also, like, you're gonna eventually need to stay in maintenance calories, and maintenance isn't like kind of like to nail that what you're saying down is maintenance doesn't mean you're going to be at like say 150 for the rest of your life, period, bar none. It's just not how bodies work. Like you're going to have a change in water, and you guys can go back a couple episodes where we talked about it kind of in depth, but the scale isn't everything, and that scale number isn't necessarily fat on your body, or that it accounts, those weight fluctuations count for a lot more than just food, like
Yes.
water, dehydration, muscle. So
Shit.
just don't marry, yes, don't marry yourself to that
Yeah.
number. It's
Yes.
just a range,
Yeah.
because
And
everybody changes.
let's say you lost weight, but you didn't do strength training and you were just a runner, like maybe you lost all your weight doing cardio. You might actually gain weight if you start strength training, but that's okay because it's most likely going to be muscle. Newbie gains are a thing. And
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, even if someone, for me personally, and people I've worked with, if you have, say, like a surgery and you're off for 8 weeks, tend to lose some weight because you are losing some muscle mass. And then as soon as this person, me, this client, whatever, start
Yeah.
working out again, they get concerned because they're like, I've gained 5 pounds. I'm like, one, it's like water and inflammation from just working out, because yes, working out does cause inflammation, but it's not like a bad, it's a good type of
Yeah.
inflammation as
It's
long as you
supposed to happen.
recover. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's water, inflammation, and maybe some muscle. So don't get stressed out over the scale.
Yeah. Don't use the scale only for your
Yes,
progress and measuring
exactly.
your body. Um, I completely lost my train of thought. But I think the other thing to think about is, even when you're talking about being in a calorie deficit, and we did talk about like what your maintenance will look like, or like on the scale, but just know that you're not going to have to eat in a deficit all the time. Like that's going to feel different. Like even if you're eating in a deficit for at the same deficit for so long, you're eventually going to get used to that because your body adjusts. And so that's one more thing, that it's not going to feel like you're in a crazy deficit at all times. Your body will adjust, and you'll kind of accept the feeling. I'm sure it happened to you in prep, like it happened to me in the beginning until towards the end, and you're like just miserable all the time. But like
Mhm.
you kind of just like adjust to feeling a little bit like not full or not kind of hungry at all times, and it sucks for a while, but then eventually you kind of adapt.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I think it's probably, it depends how you do it. Like if you go super gradually, which is okay, like maybe you're only taking away 100 calories a week or something. Totally depends on what pace you want to go at. If you go a little bit more aggressive, it'll probably be the hardest the first week or so as you adjust. So it just depends how you approach it. Obviously, if you go slower and you don't quite feel it as much, it's not as drastic, then that might be easier. But again, I don't know your timeline. I don't recommend aggressive cuts, but you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
yeah, exactly. um do we want to get into like more hacky things, or
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. Do you have anything else that you've been brewing on?
so another, and so this is a riskier one. When you're doing, like, when you have something that you like really like, so every once in a while when I would have like a really bad sweet tooth, I would let myself have like a miniature Tootsie Roll or something, but like hide them. Like, so I would give them to my partner, like I would give them to Maddie and be like, all right, today's the day. I have to. And just like she'd be like, all right, go upstairs. And then she would take him out from whatever hidey hole she had everything in, and she would give me one. And then I would be like, okay, I'm better.
Oh my god,
That was
wait,
a
hold
severe.
up.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, wait. Were you the kid that actually ate the Tootsie Rolls on Halloween, like when you
Fuck
got them?
yeah. They are an underrated snack. Underrated.
Oh my, I don't know, man.
If you
You could
need
have all of the
chocolate,
Tootsie Rolls.
but no, that's the other trick, is you have to, it's not going to give you that full sensation of like
Yeah.
an awesome candy bar, but like you'll have that little bit of chocolate and be like, all right, that's enough. Yeah. I don't know. It was my way, because it's not very good, but it's good enough.
It's not like too sweet to where you want more. It's just kind of sweet. So you're like, all right,
Yeah.
whatever.
All you got to do is scratch the itch. That's all. You don't need to go
Maybe
all bear
maybe the
like and like rub
secret
your. Yeah.
is actually just the Tootsie Roll because you're like, nah, I don't really want anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the key. And there's
Oh
nothing
man.
else in the house. So that's the best thing you got.
Well, that's a good plan if you have like a good support system and someone who will hide your candy for you. If you don't, yeah, my hack basically is just not keeping anything in the house that I
Yeah.
will go to town on. Uh, because that's just why test your willpower. Honestly, we all we all have problems with that at some point or another, and the chances are, if it's in your house, you know where it is, and it's easily accessible, you're gonna find your way to it. Even if you are like, nah, I wouldn't do, you will.
Yeah, you will.
Everyone does. So I don't keep things like that in my house that I can just, eat nonstop and be like, go into a trance and not realize what I did when it's gone.
Just black
But
out and wake up covered in chocolate.
right, you're like, how did this happen? Yeah. So keep that shit out of the house. Maybe delete DoorDash off your phone. I haven't done a prep where I actually have DoorDash at my fingertips because I lived in the boonies last time I did a prep. So that was not even a problem. Literally, DoorDash did not deliver to my house. I live in civilization now, so that will be more of a thing. So I would say delete it so that it's just kind of like organize your phone how you would your cupboard. If anything that has junk food in it, throw it out, delete it, get it off there, out of sight, out of mind, and less temptation. Unless you're like in a pickle and you have no food in the house or something, you can order something healthy still. You can even you can have them pick up a rotisserie chicken or a cooked
Done
chicken
that.
breast, like some grocery stores, most grocery stores have cooked chicken breasts, like it's grilled, it's already cooked for you, and they have sides of broccoli or salad stuff. So even if you do keep DoorDash, just remember that there are always healthy options. Just because you're using DoorDash and you're getting food delivered doesn't mean it's got to be shit.
Yeah. Well, and then like I think me and you have talked about it before. Like you can always get like fajitas at like a Mexican restaurant or
Mhm.
something, and they're not going to be perfect because again, oil and stuff like that. But it's better than a chocolate cake or something,
Yeah.
whatever you're really
Big.
wanting. The other thing, like if DoorDash becomes an issue, like you can always change passwords and like give your password to like a friend.
That's a
Um,
good idea.
I've done that before in prep. When you can't when you can't trust yourself. Yeah. But I
uh,
think a good support network is also a must have.
yeah.
And I would say like even if people aren't like in your physical area, like you don't have a partner or you don't have like a lot of friends who like support your goals, try to reach out to people online, reach out to a coach, just someone that you can text and will respond to relatively quickly when you're having stressy times or something along those lines.
When you got the munchies.
When you got the munchies and you're just craving,
Yeah,
tweaking
those
out.
cravings, man. They do pass if you give them some
Yeah.
time. Some of them are more persistent than others, but yeah, I mean, it all depends on where you're at with your goals. Like if you're in prep, there's no option. You don't give into that craving. It just isn't. So maybe that's why prep is actually easier. Where if you're just dieting and you're in, say you're dieting in general or dieting the off season, there's less motivation because you're just like, I'm not stepping on the stage. Like, what's this little cookie gonna do? So there's less like motivation there, but
Mm-hmm.
the cravings generally do pass. But if they don't, uh maybe make that thing like your treat meal for the week. Allow yourself to go to town on it one day, get it out of your system, and then move forward.
Yeah, I'm also a big I like visuals in my like environment. So I have this poster that's an Arnold quote. And I put it right by my door or like so when I'm leaving, you can put it in your kitchen, just something to help you remember what your why is and like why you're doing it and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm a big visual person and I like to put it where I'm gonna have the hardest time or when I'm going to see it the most. And I know that's helped me before. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
I
good
don't know
idea.
if you're, yeah.
No,
Um,
yeah, I dig that. I
yeah, it's
always
not
put
really a
something on
hack,
my
but it's
phone.
like, yeah. Or yeah, I know Maddie changes her back like her lock screen to
Yeah, me
something.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Mine are just cute dogs, but
works.
their own.
Hey, I mean that can distract you from food as well, so that works.
That's true. That's true.
I was thinking though, I think a lot of people always question like how do you track something or what do you do if you go on vacation or if you eat out. I know we've talked about this already a little bit, but if you are like in a deficit or you're cutting and you are going to eat out, say like I just had this situation literally a couple days ago. Basically, it's my dad's birthday, we all going out to a restaurant. So if you're in a deficit, what do you do? What do you do with that? Basically, you just try to find something as close to what is that you would eat at home, a lean protein of some sort, a vegetable of some sort, uh, and then if you have the macros for a carb, rice, potato, whatever. Stay away from the mashed things. Stay away from the heavy sauces. So I got just salmon and asparagus, and it came with this kind of fatty sauce, but they put it on the side. So it was very much, it wasn't like a cheap meal. It was very small portions were perfect. It wasn't like this big American meal. It was just salmon and asparagus. And like that's basically how I do it. I just look for a meal that is protein based, that is, within probably the realm of my macros. And yeah, base of protein is all I usually search for. Protein, veggies, you're solid. And like you said, that's what we do with fajitas. If you go to a Mexican restaurant, that is always my choice. It does come with tortillas, but you don't have to eat them. All right. You have permission to not eat them. Just because they give them to you doesn't mean you
Yep.
need to eat them. So I'll just like push the tortillas aside, and then I'll just eat the meat and veggies and the rice that they give, and then beans sometimes too.
Yeah. And I think I used to have to travel all the time, like for my job. And you can come around, like if you are a big traveler, you can kind of figure out what restaurants that you can eat clean at. And just kind of work around that. Like getting double proteins at Chipotle with like light everything else is usually a pretty good option. Um, Always a big salad is always a good option. I think that's a really strong way to go. You can also always pack and bring food. I bring this massive cooler everywhere I go.
Yes, no.
um, so planning is a great hack to keep away hunger, because I know when you're in a deficit, sometimes like if you're scheduled to eat, like you have to eat, or it's like going to be a different person in like a half hour. um I know I get like that, so I
You
just
just
always
turn
try to
into the
be as
Hulk.
yeah, I just try to be prepared at all times. I'm like, I always have my next meal, even if I don't think I'm gonna be back in time. I'll pack it just in case. So I'm like, I don't want to turn into an asshole. Plus, I
Good
get like
thinking.
really lightheaded if I don't eat really routinely. So I just try to plan for everything.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think I think it's very
Major
important. Planning.
Yes, planning is key for sure. I think yeah, I've mentioned this already, but so big ass salads used to be my favorite kind of go to thing. I did do big ass salads when I did the FTM bodybuilding competition. Uh and those were a lifesaver because you don't get very many calories. But the cool thing with salads is that you can kind of put whatever you want. It's like a salad hash, like whatever you have on hand, you can put in it. You can always change the flavor profile by just switching dressings, but also, of course, be careful of dressings. Pick ones that are not 140 calories per tablespoon, like ranch and all those tasty ones that
Any
are
creamy
everyone's
ones?
favorite. Whatever is your favorite, it's off limits, okay? No blue cheese, no ranch, no Thousand Island. So yeah, those creamy dressings can make up, like those can make your salad be just as caloric as a Big Mac at McDonald's. So just if you're gonna eat that many calories, you might as well just eat the Big Mac. No, I'm just kidding. But just be careful of the dressings. There are low calorie dressings. There's even 0 calorie dressings, but they kind of taste like shit. But then you can put your lean protein of choice. You can mix it up with shrimp, chicken, fish, beef, whatever your heart desires. And you can throw in different vegetables, either cooked or raw. That's the thing too with salads. People are like, don't realize you can put cooked things in salad, or like you can put fruit in salad. You can put seeds and nuts and stuff. Like, get creative. That's the best part about salads. They don't have to be boring. They don't have to just be iceberg lettuce and cherry tomatoes and like covered in ranch. It's way
You
more
forgot the cheese,
advanced.
Cody.
And the cheese. the the shredded cheddar to be
Yes.
specific. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. What else do you I think it's then another good one is just to get creative with, if especially if you're a macro dieter, just get creative with things. So like I used to be really into um sweet potatoes and black beans mixed together with a little bit of coconut oil.
That's
That's
actually
really
really
good.
good.
It's so good. It sounds weird. I'm 100%, but give it a try. It's very
I mean,
delicious.
it doesn't sound weird to me, but that's just me. I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, that sounds great.
you just yeah, it's very good. So I think just trying different combinations of things. Because I know a lot of people, I don't really get bored with food. I've never been someone who does, but like I know a lot of people do. So if you do, just get creative with things. You don't have to eat the exact same thing every day. Um, you can figure out kind of like what macros are and like what fits your stuff, and just kind of have fun with it. You can experiment, especially if you're not getting on stage. Like the world's your oyster. Just explore and like
Mhm.
kind of test stuff. If it doesn't work, you don't have to do it again. If it does work, awesome. Just be mindful, measure your stuff. So like a controlled experiment, kind of. Just be a scientist, right? We are in the lab.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Be a scientist, but then also go on a field trip too to the grocery store in these days. Even if you don't need anything, like just go there specifically to browse and just take note of all the things you probably have never noticed because you just buy the same things. Like you're kind of in your groove. We're all guilty of it. But if you just like look up for a second and look at things that you don't normally look at, like for example, go to the salad dressing aisle and look at all of the salad dressings, specifically the lower calorie ones, because you've probably never like paid attention to them, maybe. Or even, at the syrup aisle with the low calorie syrups, or just basically any aisle, look for something that might be an alternative, or like powdered peanut butter, right? People love peanut butter, can hardly keep a spoon or knife or whatever you serve it with out of it. But there is powdered, and of course, it's not exactly the same because it's the fat has been taken out of it, but it does hit the spot. Like when you have that sweet craving or peanut butter craving or whatever, it does do the trick. So it's like
Oh,
all these little
what?
things. Sorry, go for
Oh, no, no,
it.
no. So while we're talking about powdered peanut butter, my favorite all-time hack is powdered peanut butter in vanilla Greek yogurt, and stir it up real good, and put it in the fridge for a while, and then put your fat-free whipped cream on top.
Ooh.
Shit, man, it tastes like peanut butter pie, and it's my favorite thing in the universe. Sorry.
Now we know Kel's favorite thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's my trick. I love it. It's so good.
That's
All right,
great.
continue.
Um my favorite thing to do is I'll get the peanut butter powder and then I'll get a chocolate protein powder and I'll mix it together with water. There's a few different things you can do with it. It's a few different things for me. So I like to dip like strawberries in it, and that tastes great. You can also put it on things like rice crackers, or rice cakes. Sorry, you put it on rice cakes, and then also I put it on my waffles. It's my shit waffle dressing.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like instead of syrup, you get the protein. You get a lot of protein in that meal, essentially. So that's what I like to do it. So that's just like little things that you learn to do basically out of desperation, but it works.
Yeah, and then I think the one great thing about like nowadays with all the food, with all the keto getting so popular, is that it's come up with so many alternatives for the like the lower calorie things. And while we do like to shit on keto a lot, rightfully so, it has opened up a nice world for us because I
That's
feel like
true.
there's a lot more options for
Yes.
um, like all the syrups, all the dressings, all the ketchups without sugar.
Yeah.
Um, I think that all kind of was due to food processors marketing to keto people. So
Yeah, they're definitely like, we can market this to keto people in a way that has not been done, because I think all those things kind of existed, maybe not as much, but they would just be like sugar free, this or that. And now that they can put keto on it, it's like flying off the
everything.
shelves.
Yeah. Oh, there's another good ice cream hack is those Yasso bars in the frozen food aisle. Have you had those?
I haven't.
Um, I don't know. They're by like Skinny Cow and Halo ice cream, but
Okay.
they're like ice cream bars that are Greek yogurt. They're really good. I
No,
used to be all obsessed with those. Um,
hmm,
very good.
never
They taste
tried
just like
that.
ice cream.
Yum.
Mhm.
That's yeah, there are some lower calorie ice cream options out there. So if you are an ice cream person, I'm oddly just not, I don't ever crave ice cream. It just doesn't happen for me, but I do crave like baked goods. So those alternatives are a little harder actually. I feel like I kind of
Those are
wish I craved
harder.
ice cream, but I don't. So Alternatives, that's where I come up with like shit waffles and stuff like that because it's sweet and it's warm and kind of tastes like a baked good, even though it's not,
Works.
but it does its trick.
Yeah. It's all about just doing the trick, right? And there's
Yeah.
like a million bazillion recipes out there for like protein balls or like protein waffles and stuff like that. I know a lot of people were into the Kodiak cakes for a long time. They have all kinds of products.
Mhm.
Um, just beware of that kind of thing. And like the Larry, what is it? Larry, crazy Larry's cookies, those protein cookies, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, those big
Um,
ones. Yeah.
those big ones. Just be aware of those. Like only in desperate times would I like if
Yeah.
you're having a desperate craving, because those can get really dangerous just with like how high calorie they are, because they're
Yeah.
protein, but it's like they're a candy bar essentially. So
Yeah. So it's like if you're looking for a dessert alternative, that could be a good option. But if you're replacing your meals with those cookies and stuff like that because you're craving something sweet and you don't have many macros left, that's when it kind of becomes an issue. But also, they can also become foods without breaks because you're hungry. And say you've taken everything out else outside your house, but you have these protein cookies, you're gonna eat those protein cookies in a binge kind of way. Like it
yeah.
just happens. So what
Yep.
might not have been an issue previously in the depths of a diet will become an issue.
Yes, yes, yep, absolutely. And you'll start being like a weirdo with Tootsie Rolls everywhere. So yeah.
Or you'll just start liking Tootsie Rolls.
A lot. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Um, but I think another good one is using protein shakes as like cereal milk is a good one.
Mhm.
If you're a big cereal person, that's a good way to add some protein into it.
Yep, for sure.
Uh, but do be careful with smoothies and stuff, because I know a lot of people like that's their first thing they'll go to is like a smoothie for a breakfast replacement.
Yeah.
Smoothies are not filling.
And there
Nothing
are
that you drink,
so many calories.
so many calories. So be careful. Like everybody wants to say that they're healthy, and yeah, they have a lot of vitamins in it, but it's like oof, you're burning a lot there. So again, be aware of things that you
Yeah.
drink. They are not
That's
very filling.
yeah, that's usually like the biggest culprit sometimes. People are like, I eat healthy, I can't lose weight. What's happening? And then you see their food logs or no food log. Oh, I'll just be like, well, what are you eating today? And they're like, I usually have a smoothie for breakfast, a granola bar for a snack. Then I have Greek yogurt and granola again. And then for lunch, I'm not really that hungry, so I'll have a protein bar. And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, where's the food? No, like, that's okay. So you're starving and you're not losing weight, but you're eating healthy, but and it's like, see, this is where like awareness comes into play and make sure that you are tracking these things because maybe then you realize, oh my gosh, the smoothie I just had actually has like 800 calories in it.
Yeah.
And possibly two scoops of ice cream from Jamba Juice, but
Yeah.
it was delicious.
Yep. And it was massive.
Yeah.
Probably also cost like $10, but so just things to again be aware of and not forget to count.
Yeah. And also, if you think about it, like how many pieces of fruit they put in to make that smoothie, you would never just eat that on its own without being
No.
blended, right? It's like three bananas and like four oranges and two apples. Like, I would like to see you sit down and actually just eat that all, not blend it, and tell me how you feel afterwards.
Right. Or like all like usually like they'll be like green and have like a freaking head of lettuce on it. I'm like, ooh, or like
Yes.
kale. Ooh. All that fiber, you'd be so regular.
You're like, I don't know why I can't stop farting. It's strange. uh,
uh, but I and a lot of this can get into a little bit risky kind of thing. So just you don't want to get too carried away with like the replacing things with all that for like good. Like you don't want to just be on powdered peanut butter for the rest of your life. So just remember that it, again, temporary. Temporary. Everything with the diet and being in a calorie deficit is temporary. And just just keep that in mind. You don't, it's not somewhere you're staying forever. So,
Yeah.
and portion sizes is another big one. So again, you can, especially if you're in macros, you can have a little bit of something, just be aware of how much of it is.
Yeah. And you do adjust. There's an adjustment period for sure. So it's gonna be hard at first, but you're I mean, I know for me personally, I feel like my taste buds change
Yeah.
when I'm in a cut versus when I'm bulking. When I'm bulking, like nothing tastes good. And then when I'm cutting, like the weirdest combinations like taste amazing. And people are like, you're fucking weird. I'm like, I know, but it tastes great, so don't bother me. So usually it's like lots of mustard
Yeah.
because it's like the one like low calorie sauce. You're just like, I need some flavor. I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like some weird shit can happen when you're hungry enough. But yeah.
Yep, yep, absolutely. And I get shit on for all of my breakfast because everybody's like eggs and peanut butter. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
don't knock it till you try it. It's good. It just tastes so warm and so tasty. Um, do you have any more hacks that you wanted to talk about?
um, I think maybe just the last thing I can think of is you can even get creative. So, like for example, we are on meal plans, right? But you have basically a meal plan can be like an episode of Chopped. You have these ingredients. You just get to figure out what you're gonna do with it. It can be kind
Yep.
of fun. It can be kind of hard sometimes to figure out like what the hell am I gonna do with cream of rice and protein powder for like the 90th time. So like you learn how to like, you know, trick your brain and be creative. Like I make so my breakfast is cream of rice and then blueberries and egg whites and one egg. So my way of getting creative was to make it into a waffle. And I used to do it like how you do it with you just put it all together and that is great, but without peanut butter it sucks. So you got to do the waffle.
Fair enough. I basically do the same thing every day, but so I don't really, I'm not very good at experimenting. I know it's not a practice what you preach kind of situation, but um I eventually started like really looking forward to it. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, I just can't wait for breakfast. It's gonna taste so good. And I get stoked on it. Oh, I forgot one of my favorite hacks is with coffee, especially if you're a creamer person or like a fancy coffee drinker, like you like a latte or something. And it's in the summer is like cold brew with sugar-free syrups. And like
Yes.
so you can screw with your coffees really well.
Mhm.
And I found one that was a peanut butter, sugar-free peanut butter syrup, and peanut butter is my
What?
favorite thing, and it is so good. And like you can get it sugar-free peanut
That's
butter and
awesome.
sugar-free vanilla mixed into the good coffee. Whoo-wee,
That
that
sounds
is some
good.
good stuff. Yeah,
What
and a little
do
bit of
you
like a
sorry.
sorry. There's a cat. She keeps
Oh,
bugging
kitty.
me.
Do you go to Starbucks often? Do you have like a Starbucks drink that you usually get?
I don't go to Starbucks often, but when I do, I always do a cold brew with sugar-free vanilla and just a splash of coconut milk. That's
It's
key.
basically what I get. I do almond milk, and yeah, the sugar-free vanilla and cold brew. But yeah, that's my go-to thing because it's hardly it does have calories, but it's very low.
Yeah.
If I was on prep, no, I would just do the sugar-free vanilla instead of putting
Yep.
the almond milk in. Or you just go black, but you know, obviously not as fun. Uh
But the
yeah.
smaller coffee shops tend to have better sugar-free flavors, I think. There's one in Columbus called Stoff's, and they have like 15 sugar-free syrups. It's wonderful.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh yeah. Also keep in mind, uh sugar-free stuff generally says calorie free, or maybe they don't have calories in the label, but depending on what is actually in the ingredients, they tend to have a little bit of calories. So just be aware of your serving sizes because they're generally
Yeah.
pretty actually small. So if you're using more than a serving, the chances are you're getting a little bit of calories in there. So just be aware of that. If you're, I mean, it's probably really, really hard to actually derail your progress with like sugar-free syrups, but
Drink the whole bottle.
yeah. But if you're, if it's a mystery plateau that you've hit, it might be worth, making sure you're not getting excessive amounts through sugar-free stuff. Truvia, for example, like anything with sugar alcohols in it actually does have sugar or it does have carbs in it. But legally, they don't have to put it on the label if it's under 5 calories. But say something has like 4 calories and it's actually not on the label, that adds up. So same with those spray oils. It says 0 calories, but it's for like a tenth of a second spray. So you're like, and then that's 0 cal. That's not zero, but like if you spray like half the can, like 0 calories the whole time, that's not real. There is calories in that. So you just have to be really careful because labels are very deceiving, unfortunately.
Yeah. That I can't believe it's not butter spray.
Yes, that can add up very fast. You just like
So
spray the whole
fast.
bottle on your toast. Like it's 0 calorie. It's fine.
It's fine. The other thing I did want to mention is what vegetables aren't free, Cody? Do you want to tell the people that when you want to
Yes.
call a vegetable versus a carb?
Yeah. So peas, corn, carrots, those are, or even like sweet potato. Yeah, like those sweet ones that generally people who don't like vegetables like. Those are the ones that are not free, sorry. Because well, corn is a grain. A lot of people don't know that. Uh, but it has a lot of carbs in it. You could eat a shit ton of corn. Like it's delicious. I get it. I love it. Uh, but that can add up. Peas have a lot of sugar in them. Not saying you shouldn't eat peas. I'm just saying be aware. Like it's not one of those vegetables you could eat endless amounts and have it not affect you. And then carrots and sweet potatoes as well. Obviously, those can be calorie dense, but did I miss anything? I'm trying to think.
I don't think so. I think you hit the top ones. I was just wanted to make sure because like some people just think that all vegetables are equal, and it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, and that's
Sadly.
also if you like don't drown it in oil or dressings and stuff. So um I generally say, vegetables are free game. It's really hard to go overboard vegetables and then be like, I just can't lose weight because I'm eating too many vegetables. I'm sure there's some of you out there and you're like, bullshit, I could totally binge the vegetables, which you know what? That's impressive to begin with. So if you can binge on some veggies and gain like over 100 pounds from binging vegetables, I applaud you.
Not gonna have scurvy, that one.
No, lots of diarrhea, maybe
That's
though.
true. That's true. Um, and if worst comes to worst, go to sleep.
Yes. I used to go to sleep like early during prep because I was so hungry. I was like, I need it to be tomorrow. And I would literally just be thinking about breakfast the whole time I was trying to go to sleep. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat breakfast. So when I'm dieting, breakfast is my favorite meal of the day because it's just like I'm so hungry and I look forward to it. And yeah.
This is why everybody thinks that bodybuilders are toxic.
We kind of are. It's okay.
Just temporarily.
Temporary insanity.
Temporary. But I think that's most of my hacks. I think we covered almost all of them. Be very aware when with weed if you are in a diet phase and you don't get the munchies. Make sure you have control of that. So that would
Yeah,
be the only other thing I would warn
I
people
would.
on.
Yeah, like if you're in a diet phase and say you love some cannabis, whether it's gummies or smoke or whatever, um, make sure you go to bed.
Yeah.
Like maybe just get so high you can't move. I don't know. It's just like the munchies will come.
Yeah.
But The good news about when you're high though is you are easily distracted. So just focus on something else, and chances are that will help like get that whole I need something sweet or salty or whatever it is out of your brain.
Or convince yourself that kale is a great vegetable. Kale trips.
Just watch like a YouTube video of like chocolate while you're just or potato chips and then just be eating kale and you'll
Yeah,
just
that'll work.
this is awful advice. Don't do that. I'm pretty sure that's an eating disorder.
That is for sure an eating disorder.
Here we are just promoting eating disorders. So
Don't
just
do that,
kidding.
people. That's not what we're saying.
No, please don't take this out of context.
Oh goodness. All right. You got anything else?
um, I don't think so. Bottom line is if you're dieting, stick with whole foods. Don't drink your calories. Focus on volume. When I say volume, I mean foods that are lower in calories but high in like substance. Lettuce, for example, you eat a whole fucking bag and it's like 85 calories. So just
Go
things
away,
like
Rabbit.
that. They will be your best friend.
Yeah. And just remember that this is temporary, that you have goals, you're trying to make your goals. Keep hungry for your goals, not for snacks.
Oh, and hunger is normal, okay? You will feel it. I'm sorry. I wish I could take that away from you. It doesn't matter. Like it's part of the process. It doesn't mean you have to be starving, like I kind of just said. You don't have to be starving all the time, but there are times where you probably will be like, damn, I'm starving. Like that doesn't mean it's like a perpetual state of starvation. It just means you'll have those moments. Say like you just got back from the gym and you're driving home and you're like, holy shit, I am so hungry. I cannot wait to get home and eat. Um, those moments will happen, but it's temporary. And just want to remind you that hunger, like, unless you are in the forest or on a deserted island somewhere, like starving, hunger is not an emergency. It really is not. You will eat again. You are not starving to death. You're gonna feel it, but you kind of just like everything else, you kind of get used to it, and it's just a cue. Like it's just your body being like, "Hey, we should probably eat here soon." It's not this like, "Oh my gosh, I'm starving. This is the end of the world. I need to eat something." Blah blah. Like so. I am sorry to. I wish I could take the hunger part out of it, but it'll happen.
Yep. Just take a deep breath and you can curse us and then move on. All right. It's just a
Yes.
data point. It's just a data point. Just take it without any other emotion that you would have. Remember
Yes.
that it's going to be okay. All right. You can yell at us in your head or aloud, I guess, but just take a breath. It'll be okay. You'll make it through.
Yes.
All right.
Is that it?
Well, yep, that's it. So with that, I'll go into my little power talk. So this is a very, very famous quote from Theodore Roosevelt. And actually, I am a big Brene Brown fan, and she uses it all the time. So, and it's kind of long, so bear with me. But this is the man in the arena. Okay. So it starts with, it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out that how strong the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms and great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who in the best knows in the end triumph of high achievement, who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Um, so I've had a really rough week. It's been really hard to get in the gym. It's been really long days of work. But I've made it to each gym session. They haven't been the greatest workouts. They haven't really been fun, to be honest. I'm usually someone who loves the gym, who finds peace at the gym, but it's just been a really rough week. And I just wanted to read that partially for myself, but partially because I know if I'm having a hard week, and with the state of the world, I know a lot of people are having a hard week. Um, just remember, you just got to try. All you have to, half the battle is just simply trying and showing up and giving it your best. Even if you don't have, it's not going to be a PR every day. It's not going to be the best you've ever done every day. You just got to show up and do it. And
Yeah.
if you do, that's a win in itself. So I just wanted to say that with all this diet talk and being in a calorie deficit and all that jazz, just try your best. You're not going to be perfect every day, and you don't need to be. Honestly, you're still going to make progress. So just remember, block all those haters out, block all those people out who don't believe in you or who don't support what you're trying to do, and just try your best. So that's kind of all I wanted to leave us with. It's not a super fun one, but I think it's sometimes necessary to just remember that it's not going to feel good all the time, and you're not meant to feel good all the time. So
Yeah.
just show up for yourself, and try, and you'll see that you'll win eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. And it's also like there's nothing wrong with you when things are uncomfortable or don't feel good, or when, like, you saying that the workouts were not particularly fun. That doesn't mean that you just all suddenly like hate bodybuilding or that you don't want it
No,
anymore. It's just everyone
exactly.
has those moments. So yeah, it's just part of the process.
It's just part of the process. Growth is a journey. It's not going to be comfortable. So everybody, go go into your weekend with that. Well, I guess we release these on Mondays, so go into your week with
It's
that.
your
It's
week.
it's
Yes.
it's not going to always be fun. But you need to show up for yourself. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll be back next week again. Please rate and subscribe if you haven't, and share with a buddy. All
Yes. Yes, please. All right.
right.
Peace out.
Adios.